Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today because we have some very exciting General Hospital news to talk about, and it's definitely worth the wait. You know, I've been watching General Hospital for so dang long that sometimes it feels like Port Charles is my second hometown. Every week, I sit in my old recliner with a cup of coffee thinking today's going to be a quiet one, and boy, do they love proving me wrong. This coming week, May 11th through the 15th, the writers are really stirring the pot down in Port Charles. From what I'm hearing, a whole bunch of shocking surprises are about to drop, the kind that make you lean forward in your chair and say, well, I'll be darned. Some folks' lives are going to flip upside down, and I reckon a few long-running stories are finally reaching a boiling point. I got to tell you, my heart's already racing just thinking about it. I've seen my share of soap opera twists over the years, but when General Hospital decides to shake things up, they don't do it halfway. So pull up a chair with me, friends. Let's talk about what we might be in for this week, because I have a feeling we're all going to be talking about these episodes for a good while afterward. First, I've always had a real soft spot for Sonny Corinthos. That guy's walked through fire more times than I can count, and just when you think he might get a little peace, life in Port Charles comes knocking again. This week, it looks like Sonny's headed for one of those big aha moments that stops him right in his tracks. He's been walking around convinced that Rick Lansing is still the same old snake in the grass, secretly plotting to tear him down once and for all. Lord, the way Sonny holds on to a grudge, I get it though. With everything that man's been through, trust doesn't come easy. But here's the part that tickles me. I don't think Rick is playing dirty this time. Not even close. From what I'm hearing, Rick's actually been hiding something pretty sweet from Ava Jerome. He's putting together a real thoughtful art surprise for Elizabeth Baldwin. Can you imagine? A genuine, kind gesture in the middle of all that Port Charles drama. It warms my old heart. Elizabeth's had a rough run lately, and it's nice to see someone thinking about doing something nice for her instead of scheming. Sonny's probably already sharpening his knives, getting ready to set up one of his classic revenge traps for Rick. I can just picture him making calls, looking all serious and intense. But the second he finds out what Rick's really up to, I bet that whole plan's going to come to a screeching halt. He'll probably stand there feeling a little foolish, maybe even relieved. That kind of moment always gets me when a guy realizes he almost wrecked something good over a misunderstanding. It's so human. Over on the other side of town, my heart really goes out to Carly Spencer. That woman's tougher than nails, but when it comes to her kids, she turns into a mama bear in a heartbeat. She's already been worrying herself sick about Jocelyn. And now Trina Robinson shows up with the news that Jocelyn's missing. I swear I could feel Carly's stomach drop just reading about it. As a father myself, I know that fear all too well, the kind that keeps you up at night, pacing the floor, imagining the worst. Carly's not one to sit around helpless, though. She's sharp, and her mind's already racing to connect the dots. I wouldn't be surprised if she starts pointing the finger straight at Jack Brennan. She might figure he used those old WSB connections of his to snatch Jocelyn away, kind of like payback, just like he did when he got S. Vaughn run out of town. That kind of sneaky, powerful man move really burns me up. Jack's always acting like he's above it all, pulling strings from the shadows. If Carly's right, this could blow up into something huge. You just know she won't rest until she gets her daughter back safe and sound. The way these two stories are weaving together, Sonny with his trust issues and Carly fighting for her family, it reminds me why I've stuck with General Hospital all these years. It's messy, it's emotional, and it feels real. These characters aren't perfect, but they love hard and they fight hard, and that's what keeps me coming back every single day. I can't wait to see how Sonny reacts when the truth hits him and whether Carly's suspicions about Jack turn out to be right. It's going to be a heck of a week in Port Charles, folks. Second, I tell you what, this week's General Hospital is really turning up the heat in Port Charles, and my old heart is pounding just thinking about it. Turns out the one who snatched Jocelyn isn't Jack Brennan after all. It's Cassius Faison, that fake Nathan West they brought back, played by Ryan Pavey. He's got her locked up as a hostage right there at Windermere. Can you believe it? Poor girl is stuck fighting to stay strong in that cold, lonely place. I keep wondering if Britt Westbourne will find the courage to step in and help her, or if Lucas Jones will track her down before things get any worse. Time will tell, but right now Jocelyn's in a real tough spot, and it just breaks my heart. No mama should have to wonder where her daughter is. Once Brennan looks Carly straight in the eye and swears he had nothing to do with Jocelyn's disappearance, I think those two might finally put their differences aside for a little while. They've got history, sure, but when a child is missing, that kind of thing tends to bring folks together. They could end up working side by side, digging for the real answers. I'd love to see that two strong-willed people swallowing their pride for something bigger than themselves. And then there's Valentin Cassadine. That sly fella might be mixed up in all this somehow, or maybe he's off on his own mission. He's been talking about needing to see Anna Devane face to face, so I wouldn't be surprised if he slips away quietly and shows up at her clinic in France one of these days. That man always seems to have 10 things going on at once, doesn't he? Meanwhile, over on the Falconeri side, Dante's got some heavy questions coming his way. If Elizabeth points the finger and says young Rocco was the one who shot Ross Cullum down on the dock, Dante's going to have a real hard talk with Lulu. I can already picture the look on his face, that mix of shock, hurt, and fatherly worry. Will Lulu finally admit she's been covering for her son? And if she does, will she keep quiet about Nathan helping her, or will she come clean about the whole thing? These are the moments that make this show so real. Families protecting each other, even when it hurts. My biggest question is whether little Rocco will finally open up to his dad and tell Dante what really happened that night on the dock. That boy's carrying a heavy load for someone so young. I sure hope he finds the strength to speak up. Secrets like these have a way of eating a person up inside, especially in a town like Port Charles, where the truth usually comes out sooner or later. These storylines are all twisting together so tightly that I can barely sit still waiting to see what happens next. It feels like real life, messy, emotional, and full of people who love hard and make mistakes. I'll be right here in my chair cheering them on and hoping for the best. Finally, I've got to say, Michael Corinthos is playing a dangerous game right now, and it's got me shaking my head. That boy's still hurting from everything that's happened with Willow, and it looks like he's pushing hard to make her and Harrison Chase fall into an affair. He's hoping the temptation will be too strong for them to resist, like he's setting up some kind of trap. Part of me understands his pain when a marriage breaks. It can make a man do things he might regret later, but I sure hope Michael thinks this through, because messing with people's hearts rarely ends well in Port Charles. What I really wonder is whether Chase will actually go through with it. That man has always struck me as one of the good ones, loyal, steady, and deeply in love with Brooke Lynn. They're even hoping to adopt little Phoebe, which makes this whole situation even more delicate. I'd like to believe Chase will stay true to his wife and their growing family, stronger than Michael expects. He's not the kind of guy who throws away something real just because temptation knocks on the door. At least, that's the Chase I've come to know and root for all these years. But you know how this show works. Nothing stays simple for long. Things could take a sharp turn once Chase finds out that Brooke Lynn has been lying to him about being the other driver in Jordan Ashford's accident. That kind of secret has a way of cracking even the strongest relationships. From what I hear, their marriage is about to be tested in all sorts of ways, with secrets, hurt feelings, and tough choices piling up. It makes me a little sad, honestly. Brooke Lynn and Chase have fought so hard to build something beautiful together, and now it feels like the ground is shifting under their feet. These kinds of stories always remind me of real life, how one lie or one mistake can ripple out and touch so many people. I'll be watching closely to see if Michael's plan backfires on him, if Chase stays faithful, and whether Brooke Lynn and Chase can survive this storm. Port Charles never makes it easy on its couples, does it? All in all, it's shaping up to be another emotional roller coaster of a week. Between Jocelyn's dangerous situation, family secrets coming to light, and these fragile marriages hanging in the balance, I'm glued to my screen. I hope some of these folks find their way through the mess and come out stronger on the other side. That's what keeps me coming back, the hope that love and truth eventually win out, even in a town as crazy as Port Charles. Can't wait to see what happens next, my friends.